Okay, welcome back. This is day 14 of my journey towards lucid dreaming. Again, if you're new here, I'm just returning to my lucid dreaming practice and sharing that whole journey with you here. Um, Last night slept well, dream recall was decent, reviewed my dream entries. Nothing really stood out, no dream signs, but one thing I could mention was the hypnopompic imagery, that state. So that's going from sleep to wakefulness, that transition state where you might see moving images. Um, and it's interesting because like when I don't, if I'm not actively trying to practice lucid dreaming or my attention or focus is not on my dream space, I'm not really remembering many dreams or might not remember anything at all. And I'm definitely not aware of the transition states between as I'm, falling asleep or waking up. But when have my own lucid dreaming practice, as I am now, I become more aware of those transitional states. Probably more so the hypnopompic state, but from time to time I do notice it kind of falling asleep as well. It's just for some reason more intense, the waking up parts, the hypnopompic state. And the interesting thing with earlier this morning was that if you're watching this on your phone, or if you can just imagine your phone at least, holding it vertically, and like watching a movie on it or something, or just a YouTube video or something like this really, but there's darkness all around it. That's kind of how my hypnopompic imagery was for me. And I don't know if I can recall like experiencing that before, where it's like this kind of strange dimensions, because usually it's more like horizontal and a little bigger. And then at the very end of it, it changed. The dimensions changed, where it's like almost like full view. And it went full view of what I was looking at. It was very like clear and kind of a little more vivid. And I just remember having that thought as it changed. Then I was looking at it, I was just like, oh wow, I was kind of impressed by it. And then bam, I kind of just it all stopped, and then I was just kind of a fade to black and then wake up kind of moment. So I find these transitional states kind of very fascinating. I think they're very sensitive states that can be used to induce various experiences. Because in the past, I have experience where, if I can remember, it was kind of like going in and out of sleep. This is early morning, and then again being aware of the hypnopompic state. And I remember seeing a certain dream scene. I just remember going like, I don't want to watch this. I want to be in it. And it's almost like I kind of forced my way into the dream scene. And I've only done that once. And I've heard of other people, doing this or explaining that process. And they tend to be more, supposedly from what I've heard, very vivid. My experience in that particular instance, though, it was not like super like vivid, but it was just interesting, kind of going from just like watching a moving image in the hypnopompic state and then actually going into the dream. So that's why I do like these transitional states, because they can be used to induce certain experiences. I try not to. When I do experience these, I always try to remain calm, because it's very easy for that to the images will just stop. So I personally try to just remain calm and just see how long that state will last. They tend to be short, but sometimes it can go a little longer, and I get kind of surprised by it and kind of like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I just try to remain kind of still and centered and just kind of watch and kind of see what happens. And that's something I've been kind of focusing on. I always focus that in my meditation practice and kind of what I teach, but I've been focusing on a lot more. It's one of those, when I do my clairvoyant journaling, one of the next steps for lucid dreaming was just focusing on the center of the head, that I kind of refer to it as the calming neutral still point, kind of the eye of the hurricane, if you will. And I may have mentioned me kind of practicing meditating while listening to binaural beats, and that really helps me get to like a deeper state, where it's kind of allowing my body to kind of fall asleep almost. It doesn't fully fall asleep. It's just, it almost, if you ever got Novocaine, it feels like kind of like getting an injection of Novocaine, and then it's slowly spreading throughout your body. And I might notice like one wave of it and like another wave of it, where it just gets calmer and calmer and calmer. I've never experienced it fully shutting down completely, but I have experienced different levels of like relaxation. And then I just focus. Sometimes I'll do it lying down completely. And when I first, practice this, it's challenging because I just usually go unconscious, just fall asleep. And that's kind of the work of the binaural beats. And the idea is kind of just stay alert, stay conscious as your body's getting really relaxed. And I also do it kind of sitting, kind of like I normally would, like I am now, and practice it, that way. But I'm always kind of focusing, just being aware in the center of my head as my body's getting really relaxed and calm. And sometimes I'll do other types of meditations and while I listen to binaural beats, but that's just kind of what I've been focusing on lately, is just being in the center of my head. Yeah, we'll see. This is 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens tonight and tomorrow morning.